that he's like zero experience in the LCS, and then I think they just lack a lot of practice as a team. And when I played on the stage for the first time as well, I was like really nervous and I was not playing as good. But I think they just need more time.
Extremely appropriate video clip there from Featherman talking about Exile, of course, lacking some experience, maybe needing some more time, and that game showed it. His Yasuo was good, but his decision-making on where to be was questionable.
I mean, it's just so weird, man. You feel like, how much different can the stage be? And I still remember the first time I played at, like, not even stages, some random LAN. It's like people were asking me to do my settings, and I was like, what do you mean settings? And it's like, I don't even know my settings. Like, what's my mouse sensitivity at home? My Windows, like, I have no clue.
Yep.
Apparently, I play with mouse acceleration, and I got scolded for it. Still do.
And I still scold you for it.
But it is just, there's so many little things, you know, whether it goes from desk height, you know, you're used to your elbows just hanging in the air. Now they're forced on a chair, or like the angle of which they lean on the table, the amount of space you have between like the wrist and your hand. All of a sudden, all these little factors influence, and you get annoyed. It's like my cord's bending left instead of right. I would have hit that skill shot if it wasn't for this nasty mouse cord. Things aside,
Hey, I know
experience, suddenly white noise, there's so much like that impacts the play. And then you go up, instead of from your average solo queue game, you go against the dynamic Q5 for Fnatic, and this time they're tryharding.
There is so much to adjust to, and for Fnatic, they've got themselves a little bit of wiggle room. They are 1-0 up in the series, as you can tell by the top of your scoreboard. And Unicorns of Love, this time around, they are on the blue side. They ban away Gamsu's Gragas.
Yeah, but wiggle room to one extent, but at this point, Unicorns can do more damage than they can gain, for example. You know, an additional win for Fnatic nets them 2 points. Unicorns are only playing to win 1 point. That is the kind of danger of a second game here in a best-of-2 series, where the team that is 1-0 up actually has more pressure on them because they have way more to lose.
Yeah, that makes sense. For Fnatic, they've already got a draw under their belts. You can see the record at the top: 1 win, 1 draw, no losses. They've banned away the Rise. So Fnatic banned Elise, Zed, and Braum in the last game. Unicorns of Love was Kalista, Rise, Nidalee. Seeming that Rise is still a red side ban.
Yeah, we may see that Zed just get off the ban list here because Fnatic will have counter pick for mid. They play plenty of bot lanes they can pick early too, so they won't really need it.
Alright, so if that means Zed's not being banned, what will it be replaced by? Vlad is now off the table.
Maybe.
Unicorns realize their Yasuo not the greatest answer when not executed 100%.
It's like, guys have the best counter to Vladimir. It's not Yasuo, right? No, ban it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're expecting, right? We had anticipated Vlad being banned throughout the week.
Oh, I like this ban actually, this jungle ban. I mean,
tell me why.
Just because it just played into Vizicachi having really large impact in the game. The same thing we saw when Giants played at game 1. HK banned out game 2 and it went a lot better. It's just a high impact champ that can almost like solo carry a lane. And it just allows Fnatic to just pick up any generic early tank too, or a non-generic early tank like Maokai.
Are you surprised by Nidalee first pick? Because Nidalee was hit by the nerf bat this patch as well. And I don't know, I wasn't expecting her to be as high priority. We've seen a few bans as well today.
She requires Snowball a little more to be efficient, but her clear time is still there. She can still get a large amount of farm up against almost any other jungler, especially now that Kindred's a little weaker too, and sees less play, so her strengths are still there. She doesn't just Snowball as hard in terms of like getting both kills everywhere and farm, but she still sticks to the same principles.
And that is throw a spear and then pounce on whatever you've hit with the spear.
Most likely creeps, and then you steal away enemy red, and you kind of tilt the enemy jungler.
Alright, so can Chachi rather move, get in Spirit's face this game? The non-exciting tank, Gamsu's going to get Maokai. Not really surprised by that one. Another Sivir pick here for Reckless. And we'll see what he gets as a support.
I mean, they're spelling out their team composition already. It's like, we are going to play a teamfight comp. I could definitely see Feven pick up a Victor at 1.2. Maybe even next rotation already. I mean, the likes of a Zero open. There's so many mid picks that can work with this comp. This Jinx hover is going on for...
Ooh, it's
actually locked in. So
what do you think of Jinx Karma?
Jinx is just a pick when she rocket spams. She actually trades okay into Sivir. She can challenge a wave too if she doesn't go out of mana. Jinx Karma needs to be pushing. Again, this is one of those lanes. If it gets pushed in itself, it is incredibly weak because it also needs to snowball to an extent. Because later on, Maokai will say, thank you very much. You just picked Jinx. You don't have a black shield. well, I'm just gonna sit on that guy's face the entire time. You will just die. Twist advance, you're dead.
And of course, Spirit will be wanting to join in on that party as well. You know,
Yeah.
you've got a Maokai
It's just like
plus a Kha'Zix plus a Sivir ulti running at your Jinx.
Just like a red target tracking down anybody in this composition. There's no tank whatsoever.
I mean, this is like kind of scary, right? Because you all have got this comp that do very well at poke, like the Nidalee, the Karma, even the Jinx to an extent. And one of the things that you counter those poke champions with is hard engage. Sivir, Maokai, Kha'Zix, I think that counts. Deficio predicted Illaoi at the beginning of the day.
I like Illaoi, personally. More so because Illaoi is the type of champion when you're not sure what you do in a game and you say, you know what, I'm going to roam top and like hit this guy a couple times, and suddenly your screen turns gray.
Is it locked in? It is! Ladies and gentlemen! Illaoi is... I love 6.11 already.
Yeah, it's got some changes. Her ultimate is so, like, deals a disgustingly large amount of damage if it comes to fruition in team fights. You need, like, once she ultis, you need to take care of her, or all those, like, random tentacle spawning will just turn the tide of a fight. Let's see what the answer is to this LeBlanc. Talked about it earlier.
I mean, if we've gone full team fight, why not Aurelion Sol?
Definitely. Turbo Assault. There's no Caitlyn to add extended zone here, but there's nothing to stop that. Aurelion Sol's Galaxy, whatever it's called, from exploding. I'm
getting Illaoi ready. I'm getting Illaoi ready. This is my first time casting Illaoi, so I'm over the moon about that. And for the Star Surge that's potentially going to come out here from Fairby, a long time hover. All right, it's not going to be the Aurelion, but it is another good team fighter.
I mean, come on.
Another single target.
Be stuck in this situation. You come to Europe to play for a team, and the coach is like, don't worry, little child. All you have to do is is play Jinx into Nami, Lissandra, Kha'Zix, Maokai. They're not gonna target you at all and kill you.
So devil's advocate here, right? Let's say Fnatic throw everything at Veritas.
Yeah, there's no peel to stop that.
How much can Shachi do if he's left unchecked? If he's able to throw that ultimate down, that test of spirit, you know, catch somebody rather, then throw the ultimate down, where does he go from there? Like, can the tentacles?
I mean, I don't think it goes to a team fight anyways. I think it's more of a skirmish. It's like Illaoi plus Nidalee, maybe singling somebody out, LeBlanc getting a pick first, then the fight breaking out, or some kite and turnaround from Unicorns of Love. But if Fnatic starts the fight by having an engaged lockdown on Veritas before he has QSS or Mikhails is in the picture, team fight's instantly over, I think.
Ooh, I can't wait to see who's going to have the setup, who's going to be able to play this well enough.
I mean, Twisted Advance or Lissandra ulti or anything connecting, just Jinx is just going to drop. They need to win lane. It's winnable though. It's a fun lane to play. Jinx, Karma. Because Karma can just walk up, Mantra W herself, which means she can't die to whatever burst you do. You can almost overextend. Snare lands into traps, into burst. Definitely a laning pattern you can do. Mantra W is so deceptively annoying to play against because there's some back-end healing on that.
Well, guys, you saw those team comps. You saw the Illaoi, you saw the Jinx jump onto Twitter. Let's find out. Now, the last game, Unicorns of Love were able to call the lane swap, dare I say it, and they found Fnatic, but it backfired because Fnatic won that 2v2 fairly handily. There we go. The Kraken Priestess running forward. I want to see how this matches up, because no lane shenanigans at all, actually. Everyone's going to spot their respective opposite numbers in a moment or two, anyway.
30
Yeah,
seconds.
Illaoi should do well in this lane, too. I feel like she should beat. We'll definitely have the better laning phase against the Maokai. Not that that's something to be terribly proud of. It's like, hey, I beat Maokai in lane. Congratulations.
And are we expecting her to go full tank, or do you think she builds damage? What's the build?
Way to throw me under the bus, Trevor.
What would you predict? What would you predict?
I mean, I think she just
has to go tank.
Minions have spawned.
But I've seen people build. I mean, like, I don't know what to expect, man. When I get wrecked by this stuff, I don't think that's the best sample size to see. Like, since we haven't seen anything competitive, right? So we need to base it purely off solo queue. And correlation and causation, there is a very large line in between that in solo queue. You can get wrecked by like an AP Illaoi in solo queue just because people are deciding to feed her a little bit. I imagine Triforce is a build you can do on her. It's pure tanky. I mean, is there a champion where Sunfire Iceborne hasn't worked?
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how to build on this champion. Where does it go? Top lane. Done.
Yeah, there we go. Problem solved. So, Sunfire Iceborne. Come on, Chachi, do it. Double teleports on both sides. Chachi and Move getting a lot of frustration here from Yellowstar.
I love this. Yellowstar knows it's a lane swap, which means we will not see each other again until 4 minutes from now. Might as well exhaust the guy to slow down his wolves. That's dedication to tempo right here.
Grab 2 of them himself as well for Yellow. So Chachi really helping out with moves clear. Taking a look, obviously exhaust for both supports. Nothing else surprising in the summoner spells. And we get to judge both teams on their lane swaps. I'm happy about this because we can see how Unicorns handle a traditional lane swap and the decision making in that process.
I mean, they should be refined enough to do it. And even they have room for error because they have the better lane swapping team. Good W here by Feathervent, stopping himself in the creeps as he gets charged on. We talked about this in Series 1 a little bit, but if people are just tuning in for this series, we'll mention it once. In the lane swap, you want to AoE the creeps while tanking them. That's why we see Healer Sign HP dropping in your sidebar. Yellowstar is dropping too. You don't want to get those creeps aggro of yours. You want to have as much AoE as you can. Both these lineups are very heavy on AoE. And then obviously Jinx, once the creeps are gone, is a lot quicker in the lane swap.
We've got 2 champions in the game that have got those resets in team fights. Once Spirit gets those wings evolved, and if Veritas gets excited at all, there is great potential, but that assumes Veritas can survive everything that's going to be thrown at it.
It's like, I gotta read.
Oh,
Yep, and he's dead.
it's going to be scary. All right,
Right.
so towers go down. No real tempo advantage
Oh,
here.
change in pattern here. No bounce here. If Ilawi teleports top right now, she can just get a lot of farm here. She didn't push out waiting for the bot lane here. This is almost, she can just walk top. This is a mistake from Fnatic. Didn't bounce on first wave, so we could see the Ilawi already snowball ahead of the enemy Maokai. Look at that wave that amassed in the top lane.
It's going to be a lot of CS.
Thank you very much. Look at that. Lane swap doesn't get much easier than this if you're Vizichachi. You can even miss every CS on a turret.
So, thing is though, with Gumster sticking around, he's still technically a little bit ahead, though that will even out with this wave. And where does Gumster go then? We've got standard lanes meeting in the bottom, and it looks like an Infernal Drake as well.
I guess this is what people, yeah. So the Infernal Drake is what prompted this decision for Fnatic. So they don't want to bounce because they don't want to move. Let's see, they just want to keep their bottom lane, despite it being long, and they want to get Gamsu up against early, so he doesn't want to keep that for a while. I think even if Fnatic wanted to go for this decision, they should have just bounced regardless. Yeah, trying to like get into the head of like why this happened. I'll definitely ask them after this game because I'm actually quite interested. See if the short-term gain from pushing that wave is worth it. You almost not really.
Especially when you consider the risk of Move having all this additional space to work with, if he can get in behind Reckless and Yellow, despite the risk.
Yeah, it didn't really matter as much because the wave did get into the tower. I mean, like, that's the biggest thing. As long as the wave bounces back, as long as you don't push it into a freeze, it doesn't really matter. But right now, Vizichachi can zone Gamsu for a little bit and force him to talk to farm under the turret. But enough on that, it is still tank going against tank. Let's look at the more exciting stuff. Bot lane.
Yeah, gonna have the trades back. Yellowstar's got his exhaust back in his hands. And last night on Challenger, it wasn't Lowy, mostly tank.
Yeah, so Paul's very happy about that.
Yeah. He's a big fan of fun top lane picks.
Yeah, and he will not hesitate to tell you about either.
Oh, he'll tell the world. Chachi, though, those skill shots not finding their targets just yet. Luckily, that W, harsh lesson, this point and click. Gets himself a good tentacle smash.
Alright, so at this point we can't really track the worthness.
Worth, okay.
The worth of these
The
lanes.
level of worth.
Yeah, the level of worth purely on CS in the top lanes. When you look at experience, Gamsu is approaching 5, but Vizichachi's already 5.5 after basing, or he's about to enter the base at least. So definitely an advantage for Vizichachi. So we can at least judge the hindsight.
Yeah.
See, I knew Fnatic was wrong to do this. Clearly, because that's how we judge things in League of Legends. We only observe the result and then we backtrack the decision.
A lot of flexibility in the statements you make, Peppo.
It does come at a cost here for some 8 carry XP though.
Yep. Zap onto Spirit. Oh, just out of range of those Flame Chompers. But look at the vision. A couple of deep wards in the red side jungle of Unicorns from Fnatic. So that's going to give them potential.
Yeah, I feel like Move should actually just path through mid lane and just go into enemy jungle and start farming there. So everyone's going to expose. It's always hard when you gotta describe any sort of movement while you talk about Unicorn's jungler. So everyone's like, haha, nice fun. Like, no, I'm just trying to use the verb there, buddy.
That took a second for me. Spirit has already hit 6, slightly ahead of the moves in Italy. And we're looking down bottom. Veritas has gone for Cult versus the double longswords for Reckless, so a bit of extra bankroll gonna land
that
in
ward.
his hands.
That ward, there's actually TPs down on LeBlanc, so... And if everyone has TP and so does Gamsu and Maokai, they could just literally go for a good old bot lane party with double teleport.
Gamsu doesn't have Maelstrom yet, but is taking it very close to 6. He's about 1 or 2 minions away.
The ward's gonna expire very soon though.
Yeah, so that window of opportunity is very quickly closing.
Yeah, Fnatic might look to, need to look rather for a different option. Yeah, there it is, the ping's like, that ward's gone, but you can TP here. They're definitely setting up for this. Make no mistake, Spirit's lurking around, they definitely want this play.
Or they can just go straight to a minion. That is an option that is available for Gamsu, and there you go. A little bit of prediction.
What a surprise, Trevor. It's all that you saw it on your different screen.
For
You
his
cheater.
life. Flashes away, but here comes Febby looking for Hilly. It's a double kill for Reckless. And Fnatic make it look easy.
Yeah, to make it look easy, and wow, what a bold prediction there. He looks over to his second screen, he sees the teleport coming, he's like, oh, you know what else they can do? They can teleport a minion. Wow.
He's on
Boy,
trade
Gamsu,
secrets.
What a good
releasing.
game read.
Trade secrets. Spirit's gonna look for Move. He's already smited down the blue buff. Move is looking for a flash over the wall.
Yeah, he's
The
gone.
Spirit's already invested his. Up top, Chachi solo killed. I desperately want a replay of that one.
Yeah, Visit Chachi, and that's ultimate down, a lot of tentacles around, that means Tulawa did some work.
Yeah, we'll find out shortly. But that just looked like a straight up outplay.
Yeah, a good dive though from Fnatic, good setup. As much as we're judging the casting of it, that was the perfect setup. Teleport was down on Exile, so
Very exciting.
Devin could always join. Maokai came down, really good dive. There's not much they could do to match.
If Chachi is solo killing Gamsu on this pick that needs to snowball and needs to get ahead, that's a good sign for UOL. Oh yeah, this is just, oh wow. Womp.
Smack, smack.
That really hurt.
Did this actually teleport get cancelled? Because when I was criticizing your cast, I didn't watch the actual dive. Did he land in bot lane?
I highly doubt it.
I don't think
highly
so, right?
doubt
Because he
it.
couldn't make it back there in time.
May have cancelled it himself. I'm not quite sure.
I'll watch the bot.
Yeah.
I'll
We'll
watch
find
the bot
out
of your own
shortly.
game I'm casting. Great. Great awareness right there.
So-
Reckless, face checking here, getting snared.
Is in trouble. A lot of damage coming down. Flame Chompers catches him out. Summoner heals used. Flashes over the wall. Now Yellow Star's the target. Move is going to chase him down. Zap flashed away by Yellow Star. Glacial Path not going to be followed. Fnatic a little lucky to get away.
Some really good defensive decision making right there. Heal early, so you get, you know, before you get hit by the Jinx ultimate. Very important to make it do less damage. Flash the right direction. Doesn't get closed in by move. Yeah, a Yellow Star avoids the necessary CC right after. So definitely getting away with their lives from a little bit of a bold face check.
And that means no summoners down bottom lane. Reckless and Yellow Star don't care. They're going to look to chase Veritas, who doesn't have a flash of his own. Boomerang Blade tags him on the way out. Continues
Bubble.
to chase. The bubble comes up. Yellow Star gets the kill. Reckless takes himself one more as well.
Yeah. Reckless and Yellow Star throw their boomerang in the air like they just don't care. Once every defensive summoner spell is burned there on Veritas and Hylissang, they can just simply rush at him. That's really good awareness to read that kill. It looks easy, but the biggest part there is obviously making the right decision to go for that play.
Oh, Exile. He's trying to make a solo play. No mana, though.
Yeah.
So he couldn't follow that one back up. And Chachi, he's turned Gamsu into a vessel. Used that test of Spirit, the E. Landed a bunch of hits. And look at this. There's so many tentacles around.
This is where you're like, guys, can we actually kill him?
Oh, this is scary.
So they're literally walking.
Yeah. It's not worth the risk.
His gas is like, do you know this pig spirit? It's like, no. It's like, yeah, he just one-shot me earlier. It's like, you know what? Let's not find out how much damage this flower deals.
Like, the timing was so bad because Gamsu was spawning those tentacles because of the fact that he'd been hit by the E.
Yeah.
And if Chachi had got the Leap of Faith throw, there's ultimate,
Yeah.
even more tentacles come down. So
Oh, this is so much damage.
the risk is great.
Oh,
Bubble catches Hilly. This should be so easy. Really, really nicely done.
I mean, you can't. At this level, you can't face sick with the combo without flash. Because the cost of failure versus the benefit is it's just not there. I mean, you don't have to be afraid of a Kha'Zix. You just ward brushes. Disappointing.
Yeah, everyone's looking for a move. Not going to find it. No dragon's been taken yet. This is the first one. This is still the same Inferno.
All back. I mean, your top laner is doing so much pressure in the game. He was looking for a TP ward, so that's what he was really valuing that deep ward for. He gets that in position because Chachi can get behind bot lane. So the gain would definitely be there, but the cost of failure is too high to go for that play. You need to wait until Veritas pushes up the wave and reveals Sivir and Nami in the lane.
Unfortunately, it didn't. So that's Siva from Reckless. 4-0-1, plus 20 CS. The rest of the Fnatic squad have got all the tools that they need to jump on either Exile or Veritas. A lot of point and click CC.
Yeah, there's a little lane ward behind though. Make no mistake, there's a teleport ward available.
And there's teleports for Exile and Chachi. Chachi's got that Black Cleaver. The only thing is, the teleporting Alawi is not the greatest. Needs some time.
No, you need to join a
Ideally-
fight that's already going on, and that is definitely a really good point you make right there, because there's nobody that actually can keep a fight going on long enough for him to land and then join. So, a bit paradoxical for Vizichachi to really approach these fights.
And I like seeing every time we take a look at that top lane, Chachi's actually got that tentacle just above him, just out of range of the towers, close enough to poke out Gamsu and threaten Gamsu if he goes for those waves. And look at this, you know, Chachi's play pattern has been very good, but he's in trouble. Support coming out for Fnatic. Test of Spirit comes down. Reckless is running in. Chachi's gonna get chunked out. Gamsu flashes for his life, and Reckless,
That exhaust,
it's his fifth.
that exhaust from Yellow Star definitely needed right there, because Gamsu almost dropped. He's still spawning tentacles, so gotta be careful when you base here. It's like, nope. Yeah, this is exactly what I mean. You think you fought, you think you've defeated him, but from the grave, he will try to tilt you. And now, once your screen changes color, that's when you can base. You only make that mistake a couple times.
A couple times.
A game rather, or a day.
Both times getting chunked down. But yeah, Gamsu this time around got some support. And Exile looking for a good trade. Febevin almost calling the bluff. Throws out the path, holds onto his tomb.
Yeah.
Look at that. Reckless and Spirit grab himself another tower. It's going to be traded though.
Cross-mapping galore. Finally coming out with a pretty significant goal lead here though. 5k at 14 minutes. And a strong teamfight comp, but it's all Vizichachi right now. Something we have said in the past plenty of time about the unicorns.
Yeah, very true. It is good for Chachi that his champion kind of gets optimized against teams who run at him. You know, if you can keep them in a similar zone or keep them in a chokehold maybe.
Yeah, if you just land a
Value goes up.
trap or a snare is what you need. Trap and a snare into the vessel combo with ulti. If anyone look for that. Ilawi can just get one shot too though. It's bold building pure damage here, because if you die before your ultimate takes into effect,
Yeah.
really you kind of lose a lot of the value, because so much of the value requires you just. Oh, Exile.
Look at this, Exile trying to be cheeky, dashes
Why did he
back
do that?
with Distortion, throws himself right into the waiting hand.
one.
Spirit has managed to kill the passive.
Oh, here we
and now
go.
Spirit's in trouble. Tidal Wave comes out. Spirit, he blows invisible, and the ulti is going to lock Chachi down. Look at the tentacles, a leap over the wall from Spirit. Flash forward, locking move in place so he cannot move. Alawian move, taken out. Vizichachi unable to find the damage. Exile's looking for something on Yellow Star. Yellow Star is going to be able to get away this time round.
Yeah, Jinx rocket down too, using it in that fight. Gamsu did not join there in the bot lane. That was so close to being an entirely different fight. I wonder what would have happened if Spirit went down there. How that would have influenced a series of events so close to being a turnaround.
Did not happen, and that means Fnatic have now got 8 kills.
Right,
this game.
so Exile goes this way. He could just path up and escape, honestly. But he goes for the really risky outplay. Gets lucky that the wrong one is selected by Spirit. Then right here. Do they have vision? They see him, right? So I feel like Vizichachi ulti's way too late.
Yeah.
I think if he ultis immediately, oh my lord. Move doesn't get the
So
kill on
close.
Spirit either, so this was such a close fight.
Maybe saving Spirit's life. Exile's really trying though.
Yeah, you see one of the reasons Kyle isn't big that much, because if you fall behind on the champion and people aren't really afraid of you, you can get just one shot across the board.
Yeah, if Spirit steps on any CC or gets caught by any CC,
Buck splat.
there's so much burst damage. The only counterpoint here, right? There is such a big difference. Veritas is level 9 with BF Sword, a pickaxe, and a Zeal. Not even any boots yet on Jinx.
Yeah.
Versus Essence Reaver Phantom Dancer. Oh my word! Meowkai flies all the way forward. Exile delivers Gumsu to the back line. Chachi teleported in for this one. He gets taken down. At least Veritas gets one.
Yeah, if Visit Chachi was in position to one-shot the Maokai, that was a deliberate plan. That would have been great for the Unicorns, but it seemed to be spur in a moment. Fevin had a really good reaction there too.
Glacial Path follows forward. Baby's instantly exhausted and caught in a chomper, so decent counterplay, dare I say, from Unicorns, but they still lose the tower.
Crouching Tiger, Flying Tree. Operation successful rather for Fnatic.
I actually think that is the closest we'll get to Nyan Cats.
Yeah.
I
was about to say, how does that song go? Can I plug it on there? But I'm not funny enough to pull it up.
That is so good.
It only works because Fevin was already going in and committing though. It kind of just lands next to him. Chachi goes in. Chachi gets a key. No, he just gets popped here. Overextending, sadly.
Yeah.
The sad fate of a damage got snowball Ilawi that realizes his team is behind. It's a very sobering experience to enter these team fights. Hey guys, I have that. No.
Building some tank, but at 20 minutes, at 20 minutes, that Warden's Mail is not going to do really a lot. Dude, Reckless is just so fair.
Definitely snowballing. He's in every single kill Fnatic have gathered. They're playing a lot more around their bot lane than they used to. Fnatic, well, people are like, this is a weaker version of their 2015 summer selves, because Huni and Reignover are praised to be a lot better than Gamps and Spirit, rightfully so. Fnatic have taken that problem, and the solution has been that they play a lot more around their bot lane right now. We saw Spirit successfully camp for his bot lane player duo, and Reckless is rewarding them by 100% kill participation.
Yeah.
And just taking control of the game.
A champion that really wants to be around everybody else. There's a lot of enablers on the Fnatic squad. Reckless should be able to take this tower down. No, one more hit. Tidal Wave comes out, but he just gets insta-gibbed.
He had a heal up still too, so
didn't expect the damage from Exile.
A really good combo from Exile there. The very end, the chain connects when it always looks so pretty when a LeBlanc combos you off with the chain, because she goes back to her original location, but chain casts and shoots still from where you initially casted it, and then becomes very long. It's one of the better BM kills.
Exile, not done yet. Still up on CS. Unicorns are down 3k gold. 20 minutes on the clock. But they slow down their little push, and it gets more difficult for Fnatic. Oh, Spirit, I think he's dead too. Yeah.
Fair assessment of the situation.
Thank you. Not the most difficult thing I've ever had to call. I love the fact that Veritas had fired the Super Mega Death Rocket as well, just in case.
Just in case. He goes, guys, it was just in case he goes over the wall. I wasn't trying to steal your kill. No.
I was going to get there. Hurricane has first item completed into the eye edge, so...
Yeah, because Exile also is running the double TP, and they need to match whatever Fnatic do. If Fnatic kind of go for the 1-3-1, split up the map and then go for the flank situation, that's when LeBlanc plays on the bottom lane. Obviously, your Jinx needs to be able to clear mid lane. Hurricane Rockets!
A lot of AoE. What it boils down to. But this is by no means over yet. Because despite all the tools Fnatic have to kill Veritas, that's 4 very squishy champions.
I mean, we all just... When I look at these situations and people are like, is it over? No, it's just you play a game of imaginary throw. All it takes is like a bad dragon fight or a bad baron fight where Ilawi walks up, gets a good ultimate or a good vessel off. They have the means to kill anybody. Included with the Ilawi ultimate, they can tear through the tank. And all the other members are squishy enough, as Exile showed expertly earlier, to just get one shot too.
Alright, let's take a look if Exile can find a target, because that's the only thing that's going to slow down Fnatic here on the hunt, thrown out. A Vessel has been targeted. Gamsu's sitting on the front line, but Yellow Star is going to start spawning targets. Exile's already been killed. Glacial Path followed by Febby, unable to find a tomb. Another Vessel should get spawned here. That'll just be a little frustrating for Fnatic, but very crucially, it's on to Reckless. Febiven's in trouble. Flash forward. No crit from the rocket yet. Veritas, he needs more damage. Gamsu and Spirit, they've decided to engage. They've caught Veritas. He's down. Turn their attention to Hilly, as well as a double kill secured by Spirit. He's looking for more. Taste the fear onto Hilly. 200 hit points. Hillisang's able to run away for his life. 3 members of Unicorns are killed.
And that was such a bold flash from Feven. It was a gamble because he basically flashed on top of Reckless, which meant if he gets a crit, not only is he dead, he will splash the crit onto Reckless and he will get chased down by Veritas. But instead, Reckless has the presence of mind to instantly heal Feven. Regardless of the crit being there, he gets chased, doesn't get chased down, and then the turn happens. So that was a very crucial flash there from Feven.
And that means that Fnatic have got a 5-man stack on Baron. There's a little bit of threat that is thwarted by the Febiven Glacial Path, and Febby didn't even use his tomb. It's still available for Fnatic because they have so many tools to kill individual targets.
Yeah, right now the game is a lot harder for Unicorns. Should I fight again? So it all starts, this zap here at the start, it disconnects with Febiven. Like, it's an entirely different fight right there. And first Vessel goes down, Bizichachi gets singled out. Doesn't drop though because Exile drops in the top side. And Tomb was actually used very early there, that's why he came back up. But the flash right here, that's the one I'm talking about. Reckless goes low, so he leaves. The fight is very bold for Febiven. That's really bold to flash. You don't get the heal there, and that's a crit. Both Reckless and him die, and then this turnaround doesn't ever happen.
But what a big impact keeping Veritas' Jinx has. Because if 20 minutes ago those dives didn't happen and Veritas didn't get punished, if he had a complete Infinity Edge, maybe that shot would have been a difference maker.
Yeah, it always goes back to whether Exile didn't use maybe his teleport early in the game too, maybe take a hit in personal CS and lane development, but then be able to help out in bottom lane. All these little instances and decisions come back to bite you.
Sure, she's gonna land an E, test the Spirit, that's gonna be Spirit's face. If he clears some of those tentacles, he can get rid of that debuff just a little earlier.
Wait, is it still the fact that if you get an assist on them, it's enough right now, right? I think they changed that, because that was one of the most annoying parts about it.
Right, get the last hit. Well, Veritas is going to get last hit, almost one shot. Tidal Wave comes down, that secures it. Almost stays alive. Spirit is going to leap forward. They turn their attention to Bizichachi. He's simply not tanky enough, even with the tentacles coming down. Fnatic get the ace. They take the inner turret and they turn their attention to the base.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I see a Tidal Wave really finish somebody off like that. And that was enough to get the resets going. One fight here, clear victory for Fnatic. Started snowballing, a little bit rough in the early game, but vehemently in control of the game. Reckless, 17 out of 18 kills involved. What a performance.
The Tidal Wave snipe that started the final push. Unicorns of Love, their base is in tatters, and despite a good showing from Alawi, it's Fnatic that will be jumping forward. They're not done yet, trying to pad the stats, get the fantasy points for everyone at home, and Fnatic clean up the series 2-0. Big smiles for Fnatic. A very different game to game one.
Define big smiles. Some smiles. But they can be proud. 2-0 is what they came for. 2-0 is what they got.
What? Okay, so Febiven's the only one not smiling that I can see. But yeah, 25 minutes. Unicorns of Love unraveled from the bottom lane. Because Chachi had a decent laning phase against Gamsu, but it somewhat didn't matter because of those dives down bottom and that team composition. I mean, picking Jinx into Maokai Sivir, that was bold.
And we're not just going to presume that the lane swap where Reckless got that early extra little bit of CS and then he got first in the battle lane was the biggest influencer. They just simply outplayed Veritas and Hillisang. I think both games in the laning phase, just a bigger understanding of how important killing minions is to winning some of these range support matchups.
Yeah.
Reckless and Yellow Star. Yellow Star, when he was trading, it was always with a goal to regain control of the minion wave. Either force them off and then push in, or take bad trades and then while pushing in, enemy winning wave. I think that's one of the strengths of this Reckles and Yellow Star bot lane. Really good understanding of minion wave management.
We need to see if they can keep that up all split long. You know, going up against Veritas and Hylissang, it's not necessarily one of the stronger duo lanes, I feel, when you look at the summer split squads. So, you know, that's a good showing for Reckles and Yellow Star, but they need to keep that up against some of the other players, against some of the other duos that they can come up against later in the split.
You mean pick and hybrid?
Well, we'll see about that one. I hold my judgment because I didn't get to watch the OG series quite as closely as I'd like. But what about UOL now as a team? Because I didn't know what to expect, whether they were a top 5 team or bottom 5 team based on the day 1, day 2 performances last week.
I mean,
it's still a very small sample size, but there seems to be some potential.
I think you look at strength of roster rather than just week 1 performances. If you really want to judge like something as stark as bottom 5, top 5.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just tunneling on the explanation there a bit much, but yeah, they're definitely a bottom 5 team for me.
Okay.
It's just the gradation of where they rank there. Yeah, I'm in my rankings. I have them I think 7th or 8th place. Like Unicorns definitely not have high hopes for them. They've shown some glimmer of hopes, but as we progress throughout the years, just these glimmers is not enough.
No, not enough. We'll find out if that glimmer can lighten up a little bit more. For now, we're going to head on stage where Sifa standing by with the victorious Febivin.
Thanks, Trevor. Happy to be here. Of course, after a pretty dominant 2-0 victory, things have to be looking pretty good for you. But what I want to talk about, a lot of interesting picks came out in that series. Kha'Zix from your guys' side, Yasuo, Alawi. How do you adapt on the fly to unique picks like this coming out from the opposite team?
Since the patch 6.11 got released, the junglers got nerfed. So we basically just try out everything. Like Kha'Zix is pretty strong right now because the other junglers are nerfed. And just the Vladimir is really strong because he got reworked. And there's just so much more picks viable now because the other champions gets nerfed. So you just have a lot more to play.
Yeah. And looking at Exile in the mid lane, it seems like you were pretty comfortable against him after that first early game stage of Yasuo. In our video earlier, you talked about him being kind of a younger player, needing to learn and get more comfortable on stage. Do you feel like that's already starting to happen for him, or was it just kind of pretty easy for you in that mid lane?
Yeah, it was not that hard for me. I think it's hard for him to just step in and just play against good players like us. And I think they failed really hard in the draft phase. Like we outdrafted them 2 games in a row, and we just played better. So it's a team game, so it's not much he can do.
Well, aside from your draft success, it seems like your team communication is just continuing to improve as you go forward. Some excellently coordinated team fights now. With Yellow Star back on the lineup, the shot calling seems to be better. Do you think it's just going to continue to get easier for you guys from here on out?
Yeah, with having Yellow Star back, it's really, really easy for me, specifically, because I don't have to communicate at all. I just have to feed information about my lane. I don't have to think about macro, basically. So I can just play mechanically really well if I don't have to focus on all these things happening around me, and it's really beneficial for me and Martin as well.
All right, well, thank you so much for talking to me, but of course, congrats again on your win, and that's going to do it for us up here. Let's toss it over to Shocks on the analyst desk to break down the rest of that game.
I do benefit
it's
from
also
Yellow Star
beneficial.
shot calling. I do benefit from it too. Much easier.
I love that out of Febivin because, what are you supposed to say when it goes that well? He just said, well, obviously, it wasn't that hard for me because as a team, we did better than them as a team, not trying to single out Exile in that one. UOL just not showing a lot. But we want to talk about it, Lawi. You called it in the beginning of the show, actually, which is very impressive because this is the first time she was picked in LCS, rather, history.
Yeah.
How did you know?
Well, so first of all, she was picked in NACS actually yesterday.
That's not LCS.
No, but she was picked
Oh.
there. Also, she's been used more in solo queue, and I had the pleasure of talking to Pulse about it, who's been playing a lot of this champion, and he gave me a lot of tips, on her. And we realized with the new changes, some of the top lane nerfs, and also with Black Cleaver being a good starting item on her, even Trendy Force is actually a good other option.
Yep.
Right now, she does have value in terms of destroying her lane, but apart from being a really strong 1v1 champion, she struggles in team fights, she struggles in lane swaps, and there's a lot of problems with her. But this is the stuff you can do. Just either guys, so there's 2 targets basically, and then pop your ulti so you get 2 of these massive tentacles just saying smack, and yeah, someone dies.
So, because this is the first time a lot of people will have likely seen Alawi in, well, competitive history, The typical combo, and again, this is from Pulse, want to give credit to Pulse, but the typical combo for an Alawi is you drag them in with the E, and then you hit them with the Q, because you get a lot of bonus damage. So I believe the combo is E, Alt, Q, yeah?
And not only just hit them with the Q, just they're on their clone, you want to make sure you actually line so you hit the guy behind as well, so you both get damage on the clone and him. And then when you spawn the 2 big tentacles with your ulti, they also give you a double smack down. And again, damage-wise, you can't really stop her. She can even 1v2 if she gets ganked, like after level 6. But she wants to get level 6. She wants to stand at lane for as long as possible so she can be a bully. Team fighting-wise, Chachi didn't do anything, and that's sadly the case of Ilaoi. Sometimes you get a sick ulti, and that's it.
So the reason why I do think that he struggled in terms of setting up those fights, so the first one is you need a team comp to allow you to actually set up those fights, right? Because you and I were discussing why are you picking Nidalee with Alawi, and Nidalee doesn't complement an Alawi in the slightest, because an Alawi is literally all about going in. She wants to team fight, but she's not actually great at setting up those team fights for herself. She either needs to go for a flank, or the CC needs to be there ready for her to then just dive in and be like, okay, I can do my damage now. But if that setup isn't available, you have a lot of setups where we saw a lot of fights where Alawi just sort of walked forwards, tried to force a fight, and then just got killed before she even got there.
I'm loving all of the motions here. TLDR. That's just what you do. In any case, UOL, I mean, much like last week on their first day, looking not good.
Oh, I thought
Really bad. Not good at all. No, not good at all. And then on day 2, they looked really, really good. But then here again, nothing worked for them. Not taking anything away from Fnatic, obviously, because they played a very, very clean series.
But, I mean, first of all, it makes it very difficult for Unicorns to play well when they draft like this.
Yeah.
Like, first with the Yasuo pick, and again, they want to play 1-3-1. Fair enough. Then they want to do exactly the same in the next game. So, like, Ilaoi and Nidalee only work together because Ilaoi is supposed to win her lane, set up Nidalee to then invade into the enemy jungle, and you have like this really strong control on top side with very strong skirmish champions and actually never won a team fight like ever in a million years, because you just want to play 1-3-1, and Ilaoi doesn't want a team fight. She actually just wants to 1v1. The problem is then when you start falling behind, because your bot lane is a Jinx, which has no place in this comp, like at all, like no place at all.
Meta, arguably.
You don't want a team fight, first of all. You want to have strong lanes so you can actually make sure you set up these 2 soul laners in Ilaoi and LeBlanc to be strong and then move to the side lanes. Jinx Karma gets, obviously in this case he lost the lane. Veritas didn't play it well early on. Again, the Jinx needs too much time to ramp up as well. And I'm just like, why? So it becomes super difficult for Unicorns to actually execute these kind of comps. And that's why once they fall behind, it just goes completely wrong.
And not only that, Fnatic's comp as a whole was just very strong, because the Lissandra into LeBlanc can hold it on. That mid-game pressure completely disappears. And the jungle Kha'Zix can keep up in terms of pressure with the Nidalee.
Yep.
And then you have the Sivir, who's constantly pushing that Jinx under the bottom.
Yeah, with that, it also allowed Reckless to have a great game on Sivir, and he is our player of the game for this one. One of those games where, you know, the whole team definitely steps up. Fantastic scoreline from him on Sivir. Good play overall. Definitely what Febiven said and what Reckless echoed or said before him last week is that shot calling, it's off their minds now, and they can focus on their own role.
All you do is feed information, Yellowstar takes the information and then comes up with a plan, and you know what to do. And in this game, Reckless, you know, won his laning phase, set up so many early kills, and easy peasy.
Yeah, that was Fnatic taking it 2-0 over here. But over in the LCS studio, G2 and Roccat have just loaded into Game 2 as the reigning European champions look to keep their winning streak going. Take a minute and catch up on Game 1, because that was going on while we were looking at this one. G2 with the Zillion is what we saw when we checked in last.
Basically, when you have the best AD carry in the West, you can pick a champ like Zillion and just say, you know what, my AD carry late game is probably going to do well. I just need to protect him, keep him alive. It didn't start that well for G2, though. They actually fell a little bit behind, gave away a few kills here and there, but then classic G2 style, they start getting some good skirmishes. Great setup here for Kikis, the dream of Aurelia. Oh, 2 low targets, QQ, and then suddenly you have 2 kills. And from here on out, honestly, G2 just won every single fight, and Sven got to that point where he's a fed Caitlyn with a Zillion protecting him and an army, and he could just go crazy in every single team fight. Look how close he's standing here, just getting a few hits off everywhere. Very, very easy for G2 to close out the game, honestly, and win these last few team fights, and they are just such a good team right now. No one seems to be able to challenge them, except for maybe Fnatic.
Maybe we will see, obviously. G2 versus Roccat is currently in their Game 2, and if you want to go check that out, they've also subbed out Kikis and subbed in Expect in the top lane, so that is definitely something to watch, how they adjust to that, and really good for me that that's another team that takes use of the fact that you have those sub spots.
The thing for me is, now Kikis has demonstrated that he can play more than just tanks. So I'm wondering as to what Expect can actually bring to the team that is unique to Kikis, because already we've seen, as Deficio has mentioned, the shift in the meta, and perhaps Expect will be able to bring something a little bit more unique. But the fact that both top laners share a very similar champ pool means that I don't think G2 is going to shift very much.
He's actually playing Aurelia right now, just like Kikis did in the last game. But I think Expect is more focused on like just his individual lane 1v1, but Kikis is more of the team player. So we might see an even stronger laning phase from him compared to Kikis. But Kikis is a great team player.
Yeah. Maybe in the day G2 versus OG, Expect versus Expect if the day comes.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
We'll see what happens. In any case, G2 and Roccat is in game 2. For here, though, there is still one match left to play tonight in the LCS arena. When we return, it is Splice versus Schalke 04, so stay tuned.
We're loading up onto the Rift. Flashes away, but here comes Febby looking for Hilly. It's a double kill for Reckless. Spirit has managed to kill the passive.
Here we go.
Spirit's in trouble. Tidal Wave comes out. Spirit, he blows invisible, and the ulti is going to lock Chachi down. Vitas is going to get last hit, almost one shot. Tidal Wave comes down, that secures it. Almost stays alive. Spirit is going to leap forward. They turn their attention to visit Chachi. He's simply not tanky enough, even with the tentacles coming down. Fnatic get the ace. Fnatic clean up the series 2-0.